Hello, it's Jamie J. I'm the CEO and founder of Bottleneck Distant Assistance, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're going to have some fun. I met Mr. Brian Propp several years ago and is one of the kindest humans who has overcome some massive obstacles and is just got a huge heart. And I thought, man, how cool would that be to be able to talk with Brian Propp, former NHL veteran, Philadelphia Flyers, on the very first day, as of the time of this recording, if you're tuning in. This is the first day of the NHL season in 2021. It is January 13th. 2021. So I thought, what better way? Plus, he's got some cool things going on with his cigars and stuff like that. So we're going to be talking about that. So stay tuned, and we will be with you in about 38 seconds. All right. Hello. Welcome to Live with Bottleneck. My name is Jamie J. I'm the CEO and founder of Bottleneck Distant Assistance, where we help you stop the bottleneck in your business. But that's not why I'm here today. Today, I'm here and super excited on the first day of the NHL season, January 13th, 2021. I get to talk to Mr. Brian Propp. A lot of people know him as Propper. That's his nickname here. And we're going to be talking about the NHL season. He's the Director of Strategic Relationships at WCER. And Brian Propp, former NHL star, is Director of Strategic Relationships at WCRE. Brian joined WCRE as Director of Strategic Relationships, where he serves as a C-level brand ambassador for them, introducing the firm to new markets, clients, and industries. And Brian works closely with the WCRE sales professionals to promote the brand widely and help the business continue to grow in Southern New Jersey, and especially the wonderful hometown of Philadelphia, where so many people know of Brian as a big part of the Philadelphia Flyer program. So without any further ado, please allow me to introduce you to Mr. Brian Propp. How are you, sir?
How you doing? How you doing? It's good to talk to you.
Oh, it's fantastic. I've been looking forward to this because I have so many questions that I want to ask you, but I wonder if maybe you can give us a little bit of background, because you've overcome some pretty significant challenges. Not only, we'll get into hockey and stuff like that, but you just personally have overcome some challenges that just impress the living daylights out of me. And so many people look up to you for that. So I wonder if maybe you can give us a little bit of background.
Yeah, sure. So I started work with Wolf Commercial Real Estate the last 6 years ago. And about a year into it, I had a massive stroke when I was on vacation, September of 2015. So I couldn't talk, I couldn't walk, I couldn't do anything for about a year and a half. And I couldn't talk at all. The only thing I could say at the start was, and Bernie Prompt. It just popped in my head. But I had to learn with my brain how to speak. It took me a long time with a speech therapist because I've come a long way now, because I get mixed up with words every once in a while. I have aphasia. But other than that, the only problem I have is just my right hand and fingers don't work. But I can still play hockey and golf, not too bad. But it's for me, it's good for me to be, I'm the ambassador for Wolf and all for Bancroft, brain injury people too. And I used to be the ambassador for the Philadelphia Flyers every home game, but they don't have hockey this year. So I'm not doing that. But, and I just started my own Guffaw cigar brand.
Yeah. So you're staying busy.
Of course, there's always lots of things going on, and I like it that way. Plus, all of the alumni that I've known for years, they supported me really well. My family does a really good job of helping me, and my friends, and so I was pretty, for a year and a half, I was kind of gone for a little bit, but thankfully the people at Wolf paid me, and they kept me on.
That's fantastic. Yeah, so happy to hear that. So I want to kind of talk a little bit about you. If there's a couple things that you mentioned there. There's a couple questions that some fans wanted to know about some of the hockey history that you have. So I want to jump into that. But before we jump into that, I wonder if maybe we can talk a little bit about your venture that you got going on right now with Guffaw Cigars. And I'm holding up a box right here.
Yeah.
I love the logo, by the way. That is just fantastic. And I wonder if you can tell us a little bit of the story behind who the heck,
Yeah. So like,
what the heck Howie Mandel has to do with anything.
Yeah. So 2.5 years ago, I went with my son and former Eagle Ken Dunnick with a couple friends, the Dominican Republic, to visit a factory at Santiago. And so we learned how to make the cigars, roll them, smoke them, and have a good time. But I've always been a smoker, especially on the golf course from 80 on. I like the cigar on the golf course, outside. And I was always interested in kind of creating my own brand, which I did about 1.5 years ago. It took me a while to build it up and, to get it all set up. And, the last 6 months, I've been selling them online at Guffaw Cigars online from the Dominican Republic. And, it's going really well. I started with 425 boxes of 10 for my 425 regular season goals for 140 each. So it's a little expensive, but they're one time only. And when they're gone, then I'm making them a little cheaper. And so, but I always liked the cigar, and I didn't want something cheap. I wanted something that had quality, and as you've tasted, they're really good. Everyone that likes them or tries them has really liked them, and so that's why I keep reordering to them.
Yeah, these are fantastic. Out of the Dominican Republic is where you went?
Yes, it's the Dominican Republic. And so what I did is a licensing agreement with Vivente Cigars in the Dominican Republic. That way I don't have to worry about being a manufacturer of cigars, but I did a likeness for them, and I promote with them. And so it's been going really well, and I love it. I'm just waiting for the spring and summer where I'll meet more golf clubs and pros in the summer and spring, where they can order some more cigars, and I'll make them really affordable so that I can get my name on there. But they're really good.
Oh, that's fantastic. My Uncle Ben and Aunt Nan, my wife's side, but I took him over 2 cigars. They're big golfers in their 70s. He shot 4 hole-in-ones, and he loves having his cigar. So I took him one over a cigar the other day, and I'm going to have to get some more because I have a lot of people that are interested in these things. So I got to send them to guffawcigars.com. Is that correct?
Yes, everything's all online, and I just created the 5-pack 2 weeks ago for Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's like for $60, and so there's no shipping, and it's $60, which is really fair. But they're really good. They're 56 ring by 6 inch, so they're a little bit bigger, but that's kind of like the golfers like.
Well, I love it. I absolutely love it. I got my pack, and I'm going to get a bigger box next time, I think, so it'll last me a little bit longer. But I'm wondering, so you scored a lot, like a lot, and a lot of people have their little thing that they do. Yager has his little salute, and there's all kinds of different things. Well, you were known for a goal celebration that's often talked about that made its way into your cigar program, Guffaw Cigars. I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I when in the 80s, when I was playing for the Flyers for 11 years, I saw a couple of Howie Mandel's shows in Atlantic City. And so I saw a couple of shows, and I liked what he did. And so I said, I want to do something a little different when I score goals in NHL. So I started in about 83, and then I copied Howie Mandel doing the Guffaw. I went to center ice and did the Guffaw. So he knew that I was working on that. He didn't mind that I trademarked it. And I talked with him, last few times. And a year ago, like he had a show in Atlantic City. I got to talk with him again. So he didn't mind. So like it was really kind of neat, just for me to be connected with the guffaw. The guffaw means a hearty laughter. So I lighted something with a little excitement, and that's why I created that.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I was doing a little bit of research since the last time I talked to you. Things have happened, so I want to make sure I was on point with you. And by the way, Doug Myers, a good friend of mine, commented, "My humidor is ready." So, Doug, you got to go to gaffawcigars.com.
Yeah.
So I saw a tweet the other day by Howie. It was from a while back, but during my research, I saw a tweet from Howie Mandel saying, "Hey, Propp, do you remember me?"
Yeah.
Talking about the guffaw. I thought that was pretty classic.
Yeah, I went to his show 8 months ago in Atlantic City.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, again, thank you for sending over the puck. That was so cool. And then we got the little guffaw poker chip.
Yeah,
that is so cool.
You can use it for a golf mark.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And the only thing I'm not going to use that you sent me was the actual golf ball, because I would lose this.
Oh, well,
so it's going to sit right here.
Yeah, every time I play a charity golf, like I usually sign golf balls for the people that are there, and give them the guffaw marker and things like that. And I know that for golf, we did a golf tournament for Wolf Commercial Real Estate. We raised $40,000 for that. But I've also done 4 other charity golf tournaments for Wolf the last 5 years, where we had 6 former alumni split up to 2 teams and 4 goalies and raise money for 6 charities that we support. And last year, John LeClaire was there, Doug Crossman, Andre Faust, and Fridge, and a couple others. And so it is good to give them back. We raised $80,000 that year for the dinner and hockey game, which really helps the charities that we support.
Yeah, it's amazing what the alumni are doing. The Blues alumni that we participate with, and then we got to go. Do you know John Gerio?
Yeah, of course. I've went to a couple of his events. I've been he helps me all the time.
Yeah. So his unfortunately got canceled due to COVID, but we still donated the money that we supported for the breast cancer Pennsylvania Breast Cancer Coalition, and he's just doing amazing things. And for people like you to support those different causes, it's what makes the world right. So thanks, hats off to you for doing stuff like that, because using your notoriety for such positive feedback.
So I'm also on the board of the Flyers alumni, and our Flyers alumni have a couple teams, and I think St. Louis just got one. Rob Ravage is going to help coach. It's for the veterans. So it's called the Warriors. And so we just found out that they put a team together in St. Louis.
Yeah, it is so cool. Yeah. Oh man, it's so cool. Yeah. I remember talking to him about that. He was actually going out to practice that next morning, so he couldn't hang out too late because it was an early slot.
Yeah, of course.
So I have a question here from Paul Santucci. He wants me to ask you about what it was like to play with 99 and 66. That's Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux on the 87 Canada Cup team.
Well, that was really special at that time, because in 1980 and 87, we just lost in the third time in the finals, like in 87, and Hextall was Conn Smythe, and the tournament was that fall. And so, it was nice to finally win the tournament. And but it was a 3-game series, which is probably one of the best in history for the Russians against the Canadians in a 3-game series, all in Canada. And at that time, the Russians couldn't get drafted until 1990. So they worked out just to play in these tournaments and the Olympics. And, of course, we didn't have the Olympics as pros, so it was really special in 87. But we had great players. I played most of the time with Gretzky and Lemieux, and threw in a couple other guys, and then Tocchet and Harichuk and Messier, Gardner, Anderson, you name it, Bork, Coffey, Fuhrer, and was there. So it was unbelievable hockey at that time because it was really fast and it moved along really well. And for me, it was really special because I've been with Gretzky when I first came in 79, 80. And then Lemieux, I played against him a lot in Pittsburgh when he started in 80, 84, 85. And so, it just gave me a chance to get to know them and talk with them and be on the same side as them.
That is so cool. Yeah, what a rush. I saw one of the games you assisted Lemieux in under the first minute. He scored a goal, assisted by Brian Propp.
Oh yeah, well that was special. You have good players like that. You just give them the puck.
That's fantastic. Well, I have a couple more questions here, but I'd like to kind of segue because you had mentioned how hockey was fast. And with the NHL season starting now with these kids today, to me, I mean, I grew up in the 70s. I started as 5 years old in Alaska skating, outdoors, freezing cold, had a lot of fun. And I thought hockey was fast then. I see the kids today with the upgrades and the equipment and all that kind of stuff just flying around. And when I say kids, I'm referring to the NHL kids because they're kids hopefully kids to you and me. I mean, a third of my age. What do you think about from the time you played versus what's going on with the NHL today?
Well, it changed a lot, especially in the 80s and 90s. It was a lot you more holding and hooking and you held up and things like that. But at the same time, it's better because it was more physical, and I think the fans liked that, especially the women. They like the fights. But the last 5 years, there hasn't been any fights as much anymore, and there's not much of a physical part, and so it's just kind of faster, but the game goes so fast that there's no whistles, and it's a little different now. But they're getting paid a lot of money in the NHL, so they know how to work up. They work up all the time, and they're faster, and they have to be better because they just have to know where to be. But the better players are the ones that figure out a way how to get it. Like they pass and they know where to go to get in front of the net and go for deflections and get goals that way. It's tough to score goals because not everybody can score like that. When I played in the 80s and 90s, I had a knack, but I was very consistent. I didn't miss the net that much, and I went for the rebounds in front of the net. I got in the tough spots. And, of course, having great players like Tim Kerr, he had scored a lot, but he beat me to a lot of pucks. So I could have had more goals, but that's okay. He probably gave me some assists.
Slow down a little bit there. So let me ask another question. Brooks Shar asks, the ex-North Star, ask him about Modano and what it was like to play with him in his first couple of years and that 90-91 playoff run with Stars where they surprised everybody.
Yeah, that was it was after 11 years. I went to Boston for a little bit, and I got signed by Minnesota for a couple of years. But to having Modano play, he was young, but he was very fast. And so I played with Gagne and myself, and I had the experience, like I always got the puck out of the net on the side, the left side. People had to pinch, And then so I made sure that I came from behind and got the puck to him. And so what I did is I fired it across the ice to him because he came from behind and with such speed that the defense had to back up. So it gave him a lot of room to handle the puck and do some scoring. So and that year was special for me because, of course, the first round against Chicago was number one in the world all year, and we beat them in the first game. Especially, I'll never forget my overtime goal in the first game in overtime to win the game, and then we win the series from them. But we had a good power play. And we had a guy like Bob Smith that was veteran too. So we had good players, but we needed somebody like myself and Bob Smith that knew how to win because like in Montreal, Bob Smith was used to winning, and I played with the Flyers and was used to winning. So that gave us a lot of difference. And I think having Bob Gailey as a coach, like he Montreal, he knew how to coach, and then Bob Clark, he knew how to manage the people. So, I think that we were. Some people were surprised that when we got in that we would be out right away, but we left a few people behind.
Yeah, that's a fantastic story. Speaking of the Flyers moving to today, the first day of the season, what do you like about the Flyers?
Oh, I like everything about the Flyers. I mean, they're so deep. They've got three good experienced coaches, and they've got four lines that can work really well. Plus, we've got a couple of the young guys like Nolan Patrick is back, and the Swede that had cancer is back. So, and they were playing really well, and so it's going to be really good for the Flyers, especially having Hart and Elliott as a coach. I think Hart is one of the best goalies in the league already, and he can prove himself really well. And so all they have to do is get into the playoffs, and I think that they'll have a good chance to win the Stanley Cup.
I think so too. I think a lot of teams are worried about how rusty they are, but I'm looking at every single team is just as rusty, but they've kind of been out of it. It's kind of been weird, right, with COVID. How do you look to teams responding after this layoff?
Well, but they played after 3 or 4 months, and they played in the finals, and so like that's 2 months along, and then so like they've been working out, and they're looking forward to it, and having a guy like a Patrick in the lineup again, and the Swede. I mean, they're the young players. It's really tough to play against them, especially. Their young defense is doing such a great job. They're tough to play against. They're fast. They get in front of the play all the time, and they don't take that many penalties anymore. And so it makes a big difference. And unfortunately, like the Flyers' power play didn't work that well in the playoffs last year. They need a couple of veterans to score a little bit more and be more consistent. Other than that, it should be a good year for the Flyers because every team plays the other team like about 6 or 7 times, and you get to know each other, which is the way it used to be before when we had less rivalry. And so, like you have the rivalries are right there. Every game will mean something.
That's cool. I have 2 more questions, or maybe 3 more questions that came in. Do you mind if I ask you the question?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Okay, so I have, let me see. Eric Klein asks, from the moment you started playing hockey to the time you played your first professional game, what was that feeling like when you stepped onto the ice for the first time as a pro? And what's been the biggest challenge of your career? How did you overcome it? And what advice would you give to other hockey players?
Yeah, so I grew up in Saskatchewan, Canada. I had my dad was a Lutheran minister. I had 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and we were all 13 months apart. So we had our own hockey team at that time. So I learned how to skate on the outside when I was young, 5 or 6 years old. Little rink of 300 people, and so I skated outside every once in all the time. And but I got better, and my dad taught me the right way how to play with sports and be consistent. And so when I started with the Melville Millionaires at 15, I broke all those scoring there. And then 3 years with Brandon, we had powerful teams. We had good coaching and good players like Brad McCrimmon and Ray Allison and Dolego and Boschman and Samankin and you name it. So that made a big difference for me. And then I got drafted by the Flyers. I wasn't following hockey at that much because the press didn't really follow you in Western Canada. I was working on the farm when it happened. So it was nice that the Flyers picked me because Bob Clarke was a great leader. And I liked the way he played because I played the same way. I played tough, two-way different hockey. I was, tough to play against, but scored a little bit more than Clarkey. And but for your question, like my first game, I wasn't nervous. Because I played with Bob Clarke and Reggie Leach at that time. So he yelled at me to go someplace in here. And so the first game, I had an assistant who scored the game winner against Bill Smith. And so I thought, hey, wow, this is great. This is the way we're going to get started. And that's the way I was in the last 3 years. And so I should use the same. And then second game, we lost 9-2. And I was like, whoa, is this what the NHL is going to be like? And then we went 35 without a loss. Which was pretty amazing and still is to this day. But yeah, I tell people, we went to the finals my first year in 1980, and you're so used to that. And then a couple of years after that, I lost a couple years in the first round against the Rangers, and I didn't produce. Even though I played as well, I didn't produce. And so I learned from that time on, I had to be much better when it came to the playoffs. You had to be up your game. And so I used a couple sportsologists, Steve Rosenberg, our psychology. I used him to make us think about the game a little better, and it made a big difference in my third and fourth years.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's a crazy story, 35 straight games. Brett Taylor asked, #BrandonWheatKings, asked him if he and Bill, if you and Bill Derlago still communicate.
Yeah, so what I did, I've played a couple of hockey games like 3 years ago in Canada, and Bill Derlago was there along with Ray Allison. He just moved to Myrtle Beach, but he was in Cherry Hill, so I've known him for a lot of years. But I talk with Bill all the time because he plays with the Toronto alumni. In Toronto, they have a lot of alumni games throughout the year, and so I keep in touch with him, what he does and things like that. Because I did the radio for 9 years for the Philadelphia Flyers on the radio, I know all the people that played in the other divisions and especially the East. And so, but we do a couple of our own charity hockey events, like a couple of guys at the Devils, Bruce Dravel and Mark and Marshall, Grant Marshall, and Kostopoulos. We help each other because we know each other, and we help each other doing celebrity events.
That's so cool. Last question from this is again from Paul Santucci. He goes, "What's the relationship with Chelios now?"
Yeah, well, there's one thing that was posted this last year, and unfortunately, it's not that nice. And so I saw Chelios at Brad McCrimmon's funeral like about 9 years ago, and so we just said hi, but after that, he didn't mention anything, and unfortunately, he doesn't do a lot of things that are well, and he still bothers him that he got hit out, and Hextall, he ran at him. But, Hextall, I admire him for sticking up for me in the playoffs with Chelios because that meant a lot to him, to me.
It's all about teammates, right? All
No,
about
of course.
Yeah. Well, hey, thank you so much for taking the time. I want to respect your time. We've hit the top of the half hour here, but I wonder if maybe you can, if there's any last thoughts or anything else, how people might be able to get in touch with you, so that we can maybe not only sell some cigars for you, but also raise some money. Is it for Bancroft or Neural Rehab?
Yeah, Bancroft. I'm the ambassador for them, and so every cigar that I sell, I give percentage back to Bancroft, and just we we do a golf tournament. We have virtual events, and we do a walk, and we've got a bunch of things that we do. And so, like I talk with them all the time on their board. Bancroft does a wonderful job in New Jersey with people that have autism and ADD and strokes and brain injuries. And so, I'm happy with them, and we help each other. And with my the Brian Propp website and Gaffa website, there's a lot of information on that at Wolf Commercial Real Estate. It's WCRE.com. There's a lot of information about commercial real estate in New Jersey and Philadelphia, but we can work anywhere in the U.S. And so people have to know that too. And with my Gaffa cigars, I'm just doing it now and just getting started, and hopefully it takes off. If anybody knows any people that want to put it on the golf clubs, they can just get me their information, and I'll see if I can work with them.
So you're looking at getting on golf clubs?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because in the spring and summer, like I already been working with Ramble Red. Ron Jaworski has 7 golf clubs, and so I'm working with them already just this last couple of months to sell cigars on their shop. And so that's what I'm going to build up with in time. And then every time. They have cigar nights. I've done a few cigar nights outside that make a lot of sense for the people that like cigars. And then usually they have some scotch or some other thing to drink with them. So it all kind of adds up. And so I'm really looking forward to this spring and summer.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, again, thank you so much for sharing your time with us. I love the fact that I get to catch up with you and chat with you and see what's going on. And thank you so much for starting the cigar company, GaffaCigars.com. They are fantastic. I was telling you right before we hopped on, I was seeing how long I could get that ash to hang on there, and it was almost as long as the cigar before it fell off.
Well, that's a good quality cigar, because a lot of people don't realize that a cheap cigar has filler in it, and these are mostly leaves.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Well, and my wife and I were sitting around. I got permission. As long as I'm smoking outside, I'm fine. And we started a campfire, and I even did an unboxing. So I'm going to be sharing that video soon. I'll definitely tag you on that, an unboxing of your Gaffa cigars. And we smoked it around the little fire out back at night and just sat out there. It was a little chilly, but we enjoyed the heck out of that cigar.
Well, that's good. Yeah, they're good.
So thank you for that. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap?
No, I just want to tell people that, hey, listen, for my stroke, you always have to keep the hope going. A lot of people get down when they after rehab, and then they don't know where to go. And so I just tell people, just think positive, be happy. I know it's tough sometimes, what's going on, but just let people know that the hope means a lot, and they have to keep working to get better.
Well, thank you so much for the kind words, the words of wisdom. And there's nothing like having a goal and keeping that fit. And somebody probably needed to hear that right now. So thank you for sharing that. With that, if you don't have any other questions, we can go ahead and wrap now. And would you mind holding on for about 30 seconds?
No, that's fine.
Okay, perfect. 1 second. Let me wrap up. My name is Jamie J. I got to talk to Brian, the Propp, Director of Strategic Relations at Wolf Commercial Real Estate. Go check out GaffaCigars.com if you want to look into if you like cigars. If you don't like cigars, you've never tried them, maybe Try these. They're really good. But you can find Brian on Facebook. He's on Instagram. He's on Twitter. He's on YouTube. So follow away and support him. He's just a wonderful person. Again, part of the sale of all of his cigars go to the Bancroft, I'll put it up here, Bancroft Neural Rehab. Bancroft Neural Rehab. So it's all for a good cause. He's an ambassador, of course, and just an amazing human being. And here's to a wonderful 2021 NHL season. I'm excited for that to come along. And then all we have to do now is give you an idea. Coming soon tomorrow from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Central, I'm talking to the one and only Angus Nelson, the founder of Evolve Men Coaching. We're going to be having a great conversation there. But until then, remember, create your own ripple. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a fantastic day, and we'll talk to you soon.